But let's take a look at what you're saying about the top stories and some of the trending issues this morning. Jeffrey joins me to walk through your comments on the show. Jeffrey.
Absolutely. So I was looking through some of the things you put out, the top stories, and some stand out for me. This never-ending, festering relationship between Labour and the Labour Party, NLC. As a matter of fact, a lot of people did not even know that there was a unit called the Political Commission. So we learn every day. A lot of people did not know there was a political commission of the NLC being at the front of all of this. But let's see how it ends, because they are saying they want to do an expanded national convention.
They call it the proper convention.
The proper convention, that's the term they use. And looking at what happened in the US, parents being held responsible for the action of their children is quite I
think it's a landmark judgment for some people who have said time and again, I mean, that parents, particularly if this person is not an adult yet, there should be some responsibility also taken by the parent. So this is a landmark judgment, and you wonder how far this will go in particularly making parents maybe sit up. I mean, this is not to blame any parent, but it's important to reiterate, and there again, that big term, that parents have a major role to play in whatever it is their children turn out.
So everybody has to be careful out there. America needs to take down the number of guns in their society, over 300 million guns in their population. So let's get to what you're saying. Well, the public holiday has been extended by an additional day. A lot of people did not know, so let's tell you now officially. It was Tuesday to Wednesday. The federal government had Thursday. And you're saying, why don't you just make it Friday? So
come on.
In Nigeria, they say make it for no loss. I don't know how to interpret that.
But because in any case, what you find out, and this is, I mean, there's a lot of debate around this. Friday is usually a half day for some people. Now, coming up with a public holiday, particularly because they have to travel, they just say, you know what, let us add Friday to it. But you question what then happens to our productivity.
Okay, Fossey Presh, Special Presh says, we bless God for this holiday, assuming them feasty add Friday, join and no for bad. That means it's saying for those international audience, just make it up to Friday, so we just rest the entire week. Come on, man.
Well, G. King Guest, or King Guest, as the case may be, is on that queue. And I tell you, that queue is really long, asking the federal government to add Friday to it, saying, thank you. Let's just take the whole week off. That's what this user says. But when you think about it, in just a little above 2 weeks, we've had 5 days of public holiday.
That's an entire week
of public holiday. Again, they'll say, do Nigerians really have that work-life balance anyway? So this is maybe trying to just help Nigerians have the work-life balance. Some other people say...
So make the most of it.
I guess.
Exactly. This is from John. Says, I hope the Crescent can delay so they can make Friday a public holiday to say. Crescent has not been delayed. It's been seen. It's been said. The moon has been sighted. Sorry.
So perish the thought. Adola Michael on X also says that a whole 3 days, people working hand to mouth. How are they expected to survive if a country is observing holidays? So I imagine some businesses will still go on feeding, for example, food. That's always big, whether it's public holiday, even during the
I think the people
COVID
that will be
period.
affected the most is intra-city transportation.
Right.
Inter may work properly because people will want to travel.
Yeah.
But intra-city, if you drive through Lagos, you know, those are the moments you like to drive through Lagos, the third mainland break. The traffic is quite minimal.
But even public transport, particularly intra-city, still thrives because that's when you find families moving to, you know, friends' places or, you know, old friends visiting other
Lagos.
people.
Well,
so yeah, it's
okay. Mansa Umar says automatically, like you, Friday is added.
No,
it's a goal.
No, that's not.
That is your own version. That's not from the federal government. But we know what you're saying. Like, just give it to me. I've taken it on my own.
Oh goodness me. Aposo Babatokwe says this will affect a lot of people. That's what this user believes. For example, we'll get to the hospital. We're told to come back on Friday. They can only attend to emergency situations on public holidays, not normal outpatients. Okay.
We need to find out. We need to check that out, okay? But let's get to the issue of
let us know what hospital that is and take a look at the policy.
Is it 24-hour service?
Well, I know that, again, there are policies regarding this. Emergencies, you should never turn it away, even if it's a public holiday or whatever the case is. Never turn an emergency away. But for outpatients, which this usually references, I know there are different policies. But when you think of it, A person is ill, a person is ill. If it's something that can wait, maybe. But if it's something that cannot wait, why tell the person come back?
Yes, and from the public holidays, let's head to the issue of fire that happened in Dosunmu market.
Yeah.
This fire thing in Lagos is becoming a thing.
It is.
There's nothing we want to say that has not been said, so let's just read your thought, okay? Badmo says, okay, that's it on the screen. Yeah. You heard it from the top stories when Kayode was reading the officials talking about how things happened there, and it's been brought under control, by the way. All of this has been brought under control. But when you look at this, you're not seeing just fire, you're seeing people's lives and investment, livelihood just go down in one fell swoop. It's just quite sad, very, very sad to watch someone's investment just gone in just a blink. Before you wink, it's over. It's quite sad. Thanks to the fire servicemen, I hope they were there early enough to stop as much as they could. But Badmo says that is another person, that's another person's end of business. Some will lose their house, another property. Nothing is permanent in this life.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't mean we should not be careful.
No, absolutely. Because when you listen to the account of how the fire started with generating set, and it was said that the generator set was flung away, or the fire was flung away, and that affected, other areas, you just get a sense of why we need more education. And take a look at this next one. Ima_Zami says that Nigerian government should please invest in fire service. Well, yeah, we actually have an active fire service.
Yes.
But I think I get the point she's saying, that we could be better. But we have to give some kudos to the fire service, Lagos State Fire Service and Rescue Agency, LASEMA, and even NEMA, as well as other responders. It's always a collaboration. So we have to give kudos to them. You saw them right there doing that work, and they had to even demolish a building just so they ensure the fire doesn't spread. So we have to give kudos to them, and perhaps to the people as well who support it.
Orochi Maru says, what's happening every week, fire here and there? Okay, that's your observation. That's what we've been talking about, that this has to be controlled one way or the other. Kayode?
I have a quick question, though.
Yeah.
How much of combating fire do you know about as an individual? Do you know what to do when there's a fire? Do you know what your first action should be? Do you pour water? Do you pour sand? Do you get a fire extinguisher? How do you even point? Where do you point the fire extinguisher?
It's a valid question. Yeah. That means we may need to invite Mr. Saintolu or some of the people.
The fire service head, she was meant to join us at some point, but hopefully we'll have her on the show.
Yes, we should. Those are the questions we'll ask them, because right now it looks like the people at the scene are the first responders who should quickly do something before we bring out the big gadgets to put out the fire. Yeah. That is a very valid question. Like it.
And I think that just points to what Beneze says, that people should be educated on how to use light, or imagine you're saying fire extinguishers, most especially in Lagos, to stop, this loss of property and the rest. And
Badnos Odman says, when you build a house like this is another important point. Always expect uncontrollable fire outbreak. Lagos State needs to work on their house construction planning. I used to live in a place where there was a bit of ventilation at the back of my house, my flat where I stayed. But all of a sudden, boom, a building was erected. And ventilation, jackpot.
Goodness me.
Didn't find its way back. So,
I mean, look at this image.
So just look at this, the cluster, literally. It's literally a cluster. What you're seeing is a cluster. So the blue roof, sorry, I'm not very great with colors. I just know black, blue, red, and all of that. So the other one that looks like brown, I heard men are not too great with colors. So whatever those colors are, the one that looks like whites and all of that, see, add the clusters together. So how do you expect people to breathe fresh air in the first place? So health issues, when there's fire, how will the fire service people come into this kind of space? Yeah. It's even worse than this. This is even looking a bit nice. Some places are just horrible. So this is the responsibility of the government to take into account before they approve buildings.
Absolutely. You come off the road, there's traffic jam, you come to, I mean, look at this, it looks like a traffic jam. This cluster just looks like a jam in itself. That's why you find some other climes, they build with maybe wood, so they can easily detach those buildings where there are fires and the rest.
So we need
concrete. So it's really tough.
It's really
Most times the fire will spread. But let's move on to other issues now. The fire is a big one. The Lagos State government has suspended business activities in central Lagos, that area, particularly as a result of this, while they work on it. So we'll see how that goes on. But we'd like you to sort of see a video, rather. And this video is some sort of apology. This issue has been trending. It's a case of alleged defamation against gospel artists, Nathaniel Bassi, Mercy Chinwo, and her husband. And this particular user, his name, you find out, has issued an apology. So let's take a listen to it, and we'll come to look at some of your reactions.
Hello everyone, my name is Kingsley Ibe, and in this video I'm here to address something very, very important. And to start with, this video is made voluntary from the bottom of my heart. I was not pressured or forced by anyone. I made a reckless comment concerning Pastor Nathaniel Bassi, in which I am very, very sorry. It was a reckless comment, and I plead to Pastor Nathaniel Bassi. I extend my sincere apology to you for the comment I made on social media, and to your family as well. I know the damages it has caused, and I take responsibility for everything, and I'm deeply sorry from the bottom of my heart. I am sorry to the followers, to his fans, his ministry, to the Hallelujah Challenge, and to the RCCG Oasis. I am also a fan of Pastor Nathaniel Bassi and also his follower for the past years, and I did not make my comment with the intent to cause harm or evil. I am deeply, deeply sorry.
For what we say, social media democratizes opportunity and gives voices to the voiceless, but there's a limit to which you can say what's on your mind, especially when you don't have facts. I want to advise every young person out there, there is a legislation called the Criminal Code of Nigeria. Go to section 373 and 375. Find out what it says about defamation. There's defamation that has to do with libel, that has to do with slander and all of that. That portion will be able to explain to you so that whenever you want to put out anything, the penal code will not come against you. The criminal code will not come against you, because if you're taken to court, they will read those sections for you, and if you can't defend yourself, you're going to jail if you're not careful.
Yeah. And I always say this, that the law, or all of those laws, really are not for us. Once you think about what I'm about to say, is it kind? Is it fair? Is it truthful? Then you won't need to look at the laws. If you're kind, the law will not apply to you. The law is usually for stubborn people, people who are recalcitrant. It shouldn't be for everyday people. But it's good to see that apology, and this is what people are saying about it. Pressure Yawu says, again, you have to understand the context in which Nigerians are coming from. It says, if I was Nathaniel, based on the defamation, I'm not going to show him mercy. Now, I don't know if you're playing with words here, because Mercy Chinwo is in the mix, so you're saying I'm not going to show him mercy. It goes on to say he needs to serve either the living God or in jail. Come on.
Well, it's up to Nathaniel and the
well, they
Mercy.
put out a statement in this regard, particularly for this user. Says, well, it's been forgiven for this particular user, but there are others on that list who have not either tendered an apology or have not submitted themselves. So the case is still on for the others on that list.
I'm sure next time a lot of you will be very careful. So a young Emmanuel IJ says he should face the consequence. A lot of people need to learn to stop defaming people on the internet, which is what we said. Be careful out there before you say anything. You have a right to say what you want to say, but there's a limit to which you can say the things you want, especially if you don't have evidence. You need to limit how you say the things you say, all right?
So there you have it. By the way, I'm just looking through that statement that says that, well, he's been forgiven.
That's Nathaniel's statement.
Yes, in demonstration of the love of God. So for those who are saying he should not be forgiven, well, it's water under the bridge, particularly for this user. But the case continues for the other ones who, well, are yet, as I said, to comment. But let's take a look at other comments on this one. What's the next one on this alleged defamation, as the Facebook user apologizes? There you see, our complacency has led to the exploitation of the once beautiful timeline by deceitful actors who seek to propagate falsehoods, propaganda, threats, radicalize and instill fear. It is crucial for young people, most especially, to develop responsible online habits and critically evaluate the information they churn out. Aptly put.
The next person isn't smiling. Annie says he needs to be locked up. He's only apologizing because he got sued. Well, Nathaniel has forgiven him. From Nathaniel's end, he's forgiven. Carry the next one.
Well, maybe we should just move on, because it was said that his aged mother also had to come in and apologize as well. So that is that. With that, more comments, as you can see, saying that this is a lesson for next time. But this person suspects that he might repeat the same thing and ask for forgiveness, but he didn't say that. Let's just be charitable as well, both in action and in reaction. There's a lot more to take a look at on this one, Jeffrey, but...
I quoted a section. Okay, right. Read it. Is it okay? This is for me?
Yeah.
It's a very good, but save it. You need to still help society by making yourself available to test the law. It will set a precedent for others to know what to expect in case they are after plea not accepted. So the Criminal Code Section 375, which has to do with a bit of the penalty or the punishment, is subject to the provisions of this chapter. Any person who publishes any defamatory matter is guilty of misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 1 year, and any person who publishes any defamatory matter knowing it to be false, let me emphasize, knowing it to be false, is liable to imprisonment for 2 years. You don't want to do that time, not at all. Carry the next one.
So there you have it. Keep your comments coming in. Let us see what you have to say about some of these trending topics. Hashtag CTV Morning Brief. That's where you will find us.
Carry the next one. There's a next one we may have to read. I think the big V. You will have to read that one.
Oh, yeah. Which is what I took earlier on.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying, Nathaniel Bassey has forgiven him. What if this happens again? You know that you can always ask for forgiveness and you'll get it. But I said, well, we have to be charitable in our actions and reactions. So, well, when that bridge comes, if it comes, we'll cross it and we'll find a way to cross it.
I think in addition to that, so maybe whenever you want to say anything online, type in all of that. Meet your lawyer, ask your lawyer what is an opinion, what is defamation that has a subset of libel and slander, and what is vulgar abuse. These are the things that the law looks at. The some are not justiciable, means you can't take somebody to court for it. But some, like I read, the one I read, you will find yourself in jail if you can't prove it in court. So be careful. We don't want you to be in jail for just saying what is on your mind.
We want you to watch the morning brief.
We want you to be here watching it with us.
You can just extract the audio
just take it easy, okay?
from that video and make it your ringtone.
Please, be
so
careful.
You always play it and remember that, hey, I don't want to apologize and be in this kind of situation. But let's shift gears now.
Yep.
The EFCC has been speaking, and this is not the first time, even the CBN and the government, about those who charge in foreign currency for services rendered here in Nigeria.
Finally, we're here.
Yeah, so this is just a simple caption. Charge for service in dollars and go to jail.
It's like saying, urinate here and pay 50,000.
As simple as that.
You know, it used to be, do not urinate. Now it's urinate. Don't worry, but bring your money along.
But the angle from this particular user, Focus Isaac, is quite interesting. And it is for Nigerian musicians, asking that, so how will they then work with Nigerian musicians? I'm not a Nigerian musician, or at least I'm not in the category which you're asking, but that's a valid question. So I know they charge in dollars, but will they be charging in dollars for services here in Nigeria? In fact, there's a particular case that was publicized between the former NFF president and Davido, and the money being quoted,
was in dollars.
So you understand why this conversation is coming up. But let's move on now, shall we?
So I just feel that what they're saying is that if you're offering or rendering service or selling goods in Nigeria, do it in our local currency. When you want to do it with people outside, maybe you could do it with the other currencies, but right here in this country, you need to do it in our local currency, because it's like passing a vote of no confidence in our own currency. That is not acceptable by the government
at all.
People's Choice says, why would someone charge in dollars in a country where Naira is used? That's a big question. The EFCC has said to you, sir, if you do that, you find yourself in jail. All right?
So, for some people, this is a conversation they can't relate with, right? But it is actually something for a lot of other people. So it needs to end. Apparently, it's also having its effect on the Naira dollar. This next one is from, let me see. All right, let's take this one from, Lynn Cardinal. I hope I got that correctly. It says it's the right step. Every deal in Nigeria henceforth should be in Naira. Simple as
it's as simple as that. Let's get to the next one. Firestorm says, what if the person is not working for a Nigerian? People do legit work online for foreigners. I'm sure there's a fine line between all of this, but what they are saying, my guess is, if Kayode offers me service, Kayode should not charge me in dollars. Pay me in Naira. If you want to do the dollars, do the exchange, and give me the Naira equivalents.
Right.
We're trying to strengthen the Naira. So the CBN is doing a lot. And we hope that the fiscal authority will also complement the effort of the CBN. The optics are looking good. The Naira is rebounding as much as possible. We're dipping our hands where our vault is not that heavy to sustain what we're doing. So the fiscal authority has to do more. Let us ramp up our production level to maybe 2 million so that our exchange is a complicated conversation, but it's as simple as straight when it comes to Naira and dollar.
And that's a very vital question. So we need to also ensure that we properly itemize either those services and put into consideration some of these people. I mean, you work from home, for example, for a company in the US, and you ask, I mean, that's why you have a domiciliary account anyway. But take a look at this. What about writing our national budget in dollars, paying our sports teams in dollars, awarding contracts in dollars? The list goes on and on. Simply put, you are living in glass houses.
Don't throw stones.
So before you throw that stone, take a look at your glass house. Clean the house first, and then we can talk about others.
So maybe we should not be saying things like match bonuses. Let's not be mentioning is $5,000, or just tell us the Naira equivalent. Your match bonus is 5 million Naira, 10 million. Let's not quarrel over that. I think that's what I think it's a valid statement the person is making. You can't be harassing us, quote unquote, and not take care of your own end. Okay.
Absolutely.
EFCC releases fresh charges against the CBN governor. Emefiele has been in the news so this is an avalanche.
It's a breakdown of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether you can see that, but I don't know whether it's legible for you.
26 in total at this point.
26 of them, bordering on a couple of financial infractions that has to do with payment in foreign exchange to certain accounts. But remember, all of these allegations, they are all allegations. So that is what the EFCC is bringing or preferring against the CBN governor, or former CBN governor, I should say, Godwin Emefiele. So he has to defend each of these counts in court. So he has a long walk to freedom if he finds it eventually. So let's find out what they are saying, Kayode.
Yeah.
Just King says, you mean just one man collects, I almost wanted to say it in pidgin. I think it would be better in pidgin. Collect all this money, send him to jail and throw away the keys. It's still an allegation.
Absolutely.
They're all allegations, okay?
So yeah, properly contextualize it. And that's what we said. Is it true? Before you type it, think, is it true? What you just said, is it true? Because these are allegations. Even the EFCC that is persecuting him will call it an allegation. And that's why they're in court trying to prove it or otherwise. So let us...
I think there's one that is to the tune of a transfer that is to the tune of $2.1 billion that they say he did it without bid. It borders on abuse of office. And all
those allegations. Take a look at this next one from Modupe Oluwasegun, saying, starts with a caveat, and you trust Nigerians on this, they have learned. Says, I'm not on his side, but we need to understand some things in Nigeria. First, how strong is our institution that a man can go this far, if indeed he went that far, if those allegations are proven? Is it possible that a single man alone can do all of these? Please use a picture without Bible for him.
What is the problem?
Different strokes for different folks, really. I mean, it's funny how you look at a picture, how you touch an elephant, and what you feel is different from what the other person's feeling.
Absolutely. So let's go to Mr. West. You're known by OT_Jason. If these allegations are proven to be true, then the defendant should face the full extent of the consequences, because how you go chop all this money? That means how would you embezzle all of this? Still an allegation. I like the fact that he added allegation.
There you go. Nikaye's post is a comedic touch or a comedic angle to this, which is what you find a lot on X. I'll just let you do the reading, saying that they should do the needful as soon as possible. So you question, what is the needful? And then he goes on to add, otherwise, what happened in 1945 will happen again.
He didn't give us an explainer. What happened.
Yeah, so this is an expression from Nigerians. They just pick a random date from decades ago and
that
say,
we can't trace.
Yeah, otherwise what happened then will happen again. Usually it just means, what does it even mean, Jeffrey? It's just a way of saying there should not be a repeat.
Thank God an OG is in the building, a comedian who will explain this later, probably. So I heard there was a joke that a man was in a bus and they call it change, but the balance he was supposed to get from the conductor wasn't coming to him. And he was like, give me my balance, or give me my change, else what happened in 1940 this? So everybody was curious, what really happened? Eventually, it was a heated argument. And when the man had the opportunity to say what happened in 1945, he said because of change issue, he had to trek a long distance. Anyway,
thank you, Jeffrey, for that explainer.
That's the one I know.
Now I understand where that is coming from.
So you kept us in this bus arguing because you trekked. Not that somebody was beaten up or somebody was incarcerated, but hey.
There you have it. Those are some of your comments. We talk about the serious, the touchy, and sometimes the funny, as you can see right now. But we're starting off with our first conversation of the day. Don't forget, it's Eid al-Fitr. We'll be linking up just to see how the day has been celebrated across board. But stay with us right here on the Morning Brief as we bring to you our very first conversation. You do not want to miss this.
Jonathan.